of natural resources which are finite. Now we already see during the current conflict of Russia as well as the Ukraine, you see that how the resources are getting crunched. At this time in Europe, because of the shortage of the gas, there are so many factories which are getting closed. Plus, even for the normal people, like there has been advice to reduce the temperature. So just imagine that if you're living in a country where the temperature is less than 0 degree, but you cannot heat out your home because of the missing natural resources. Couple of times back, you might have heard about the switch canal issues, which interrupted the whole supply chain of the world. Probably you also might have heard about the semiconductor shortage in between, which affected the whole automotive industry as such in a large way. So definitely, like I do talk about quite of challenging environment in and us around. So what we as a ZF are doing to overcome it. So first, just to give you a perspective about the ZF Group. So ZF Group is almost $40 billion company, and we are more into the automotive uh, parts making. So we are focused into the passenger car. We are focused into the commercial vehicle as well as for the industrial engineering. In terms of the part makers, so we lie as a third or fourth globally largest automotive suppliers. And whatever parts that we produce, you use it in your day-to-day life as a part of your transportation need. It's a company which is spread across 160,000 employees. There is a big investment and the focus that we bring into the research and development because we are focusing into the future part of the mobility, which is yet to come in 2030, 2040, or even 2050. In terms of the key figures or the location, just to give you a perspective, what I'm talking about is globally we have 188 plants in 31 countries. There are 18 main development locations, and we do have a partnership of different workshops, which is more than 15,000. So worldwide presence, production, development, sales and service, which is also not making us easy if we would like to adopt something like sustainability. In terms of the technological mobility trend, which is again interlinked with sustainability. So at this time, if you see in automotive industry, we are talking about electrification, we are talking about the shared mobility, we are talking about the autonomous driving, as well as we are talking about the connectivity. So all these four trends that we talk about within the automotive or the mobility has to be led by sustainability. And this is also bringing a radical change within the automotive industry. So the changes in mobility behavior, we saw it, the diffusion of advanced technology, new competition and cooperation has started arising it. Probably you may see there are a lot of small startups. They come up with some kind of innovative idea and they are able to scale up much faster by utilizing the products that even we produce. Then we do have a shifting market and the revenue pools. Plus, the most important is all about the digitalization of product and processes within the enterprise, which should support this particular transformation. Just to give you a little detailed perspective before I get into my presentation. When we talk about the corporate reporting standard for the greenhouse, it is divided into three parts. One, what we call as a scope one, which is a direct emission, which happens through the company facilities or company vehicles. Then there is a scope 2 emission, which happens through the indirect. And this can be because of the purchased electricity that we use, the steam, the heating, the cooling, that we use it for different usages or to run a company. And specifically, these are scope 1 and scope 2, which is directly controllable, at least within any of the organization. Then the most tricky part is the scope 3. Scope 3 is always divided into two part, what we is upstream and second is downstream. So within the scope 3 upstream, we do talk about the purchase goods and services, capital goods, fuel and energy related activities, transportation, waste generated in the operation, business travels, employee commuting, lease asset. And in the downstream, we talk about different kind of transportation and distribution, use of sold product, end of life treatment, leased asset, franchisee, investment. So we measure all our emissions in terms of these three scopes. In terms of sustainability, the carbon neutrality is strongly anchored in our ZF strategy. So our ambitious climate strategy is to be climate neutral across all the emission categories by 2040. We are focusing on reducing CO2 emission by 80% by using the green power until 2030, which is scope 1 and 2. And we are also focusing on reducing CO2 emission of upward value chain product by 2040, which is specifically the scope 3. This is just to show you the ambitious 2030 target that we have defined, where we will reduce our own CO2 emission across all our plants worldwide by minus 80%. And then we will also reduce CO2 emission from supply chain, which is scope 3 upstream and the product scope 3 downstream by 40% of compared to 2019. It's the benchmark that we have taken, and we are striving to achieve it. It is very important that when we talk about the sustainability, it is not only about the greenhouse emission. There are multiple facts which touches on different kind of the sustainability goal or 17 sustainability goals that UN has defined. So what we did was we adopted uh, 8 sustainability goals, and we are trying to achieve it through different programs. So the sustainability program that we have defined, it focuses on the climate and the nature. So how we can use what are the climate action that we take, how sustainable and circular product we can use it into our operations. The second part of the our sustainability program is about keeping the people in the center. So we do talk about the employee development and diversity, keeping people safe, supply chain responsibility, and then third, what we talk about is called lasting values, where we talk about the behavior across the business, the long-term value creation, as well as the resilience. So in my next few slides, I'll give you the examples which are based exactly into these three parameters. When we see currently the global emission, we see there are 51 billion tons of greenhouse gases which are getting emitted. And again, the conflict of Russia and Ukraine is also not making us easy, where now we see the impact on the climate, which is even much, much higher. When we talk about the social progress index, it is estimated that we are already running 62 years behind. So there is a time that we need to act now. And just imagine that if you would like to reduce 51 billion tons to zero, it cannot be done just like that. And that's how technology and digitalization comes into the place. There are different tools, and these are highlighted specifically by the World Economic Forum. The tools and the technologies that we are using in our day-to-day life uh, in digitalization, not only for the enterprise, but also to sustainability are in terms of the AI, blockchain, IoT, big data. We do talk about the advanced material development, robotics, AR, VR, as well as the 3D printing. Quantum computing is another good example which we are leveraging into our sustainability achievement target. Again, as per the World Economic Forum, technology could impact 10 of the 17 sustainable development goals that I talked about uh, from the UN. And out of that, the biggest impact which is happening is across the Industry 4.0 application. So, be it good health and well being, affordable and the clean energy, industrial innovation and infrastructure, sustainable cities, these all are impacting and as a part of fourth industrial revolution. Out of these 17 sustainable development goals, there are more than 169 targets, and it is estimated that out of that 169 targets, 70% can be achieved through technology and specifically the area of Industry 4.0. Now, coming back to again the focus that we have in terms of achieving our 2030 target, where in all the plants we would like to start using the green energy efficiency by 20% more than today. We would like to have 100% of the green power usage across the different location. In terms of supply chain, we are talking about 90% of the European steels from the electric arc furnace that we would want to use, 50% of CO2 neutral road transport into the logistics. In terms of product, we are moving more towards the electrified powertrain and 50% of the recycled material or circular economy that we would like to adopt in all our products. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you a couple of real life examples how technology has helped us to reduce the emission. And all these solutions have been developed by the technology team globally that we have, sometime in-house, sometime together with a partner. So the first example where I talk about is the logistics transport route optimization. This is one of the brilliant case that we implemented in the plant that we have it in Poland. And the business scenario was that there were different logistics provider. They were either doing the milk run. Milk run means picking up different kind of product from different suppliers, putting our parts into different locations, as well as they were bringing the finished product into the central warehouse that we are having in Germany. And then again, here it was pure AI-based data product which was used. And ultimate, the benefit that we had was less CO2 emission, less travel, obviously. And then that also decreases the downtime because the dependency of multiple transportation was reduced. The second brilliant example that I wanted to talk about is energy management system. And this is a IoT and the data product which was developed. And with this particular energy management tool or the dashboard which is available, we are able to see the different kind of consumption and the source of energy which is getting used. And as you know, what if you are not measuring it, you cannot achieve those targets. So that's how this was a brilliant step in bringing and highlighting the energy consumption usage pattern in the organization, so that the company can take action. And this is one of the key pillars where we say that we would like to use the 100% of the green energy. Green energy means the energy which is generated through the wind power or turbine. This was a brilliant solution which was developed. Interestingly, the team which developed was based out of Chennai, and they also won the CII award for this particular initiative. Another brilliant example is about the autonomous shuttle. So it's a small video. I don't know if everybody is able to see it, but here again, what we wanted to do was, because there are different products that we are using, and we have developed which is more autonomous in the nature. Again, when you'd like to make the demo of these product, it's always not feasible to, airlift this product, or take this product to road to present it to different kind of people across the globe. So that's how this particular iPad-based solution was developed, where you see it gives a very good feeling about this particular product, not only from inside and outside, but also you can bring in, you can zoom in, and this helped to bring more emotional intelligence, as well as, if you're not transporting too much of these products at different location, definitely it leads to the sustainability part. One of the key learnings that we have in our sustainability journey was all about the change management. Sustainability is such a topic that it touches the heart of almost every human being on the earth, so that they are more concerned about what is it there for the next generation to come. And that's how learning takes the priority. So the team, what they developed was a chatbot called Terra. This particular chatbot was again AI and NLP based, and this was bringing a lot of awareness about sustainability. Whenever any employee is having a query in terms of our sustainability goal, how we can achieve it, or a certain set of, say, understanding what is scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, they can always chatbot. And we saw that almost 70% of the queries are being handled, and it helped us to bring the right change management. Another very good example that we are now leveraging is also, which is related to the people, is the usage of the AR in different kind of education and the training. So since we make the products which are highly safety relevant, and like if anything goes wrong, it could affect the life of the people. So So we take uttermost care that the safety is always taken care. And since we have different kind of equipments, it is always necessary that all our people on the shop floor always undergo a training. And then this is the training which was developed in Euphoria, and it also helps us to reduce the failure. Another good example, which is also related to the people that we are using, is a solution which is called Pick by Light. So Pick by Light is a solution which is a AR-based solution which guides the certain employees on the shop floor to develop or assemble the product in the right way. If somebody is trying to skip a process or miss the process, it will not move to the next one. And that's how you see that this particular step was missed out, or it was not done. So the product assembly has not been completed. And another topic is also, since we have to deal with a lot of blue collars, and there is a turnaround. If we have a high production, we always have a lot of extra people coming in, and they manage the production. So training and skill development always becomes a crucial part, um, for the people as well as for the failure reduction. Another good example that I wanted to show is, which has now been actively used at different plant locations. So these are the solutions that we have, which is based on the remote assist support. During the COVID also, you realize that people cannot travel. And in the past, it was always a challenge that whatever product or the machines that we have, the producer of the machine, those service guys have to fly in from different part of the world to this plant to support the failure. And this was always increasing the downtime and the production thing into our company. So with this HoloLens solution from the Microsoft, now you see that we can always do a remote monitoring, reducing the downtime as well as the required professional support which is needed on time. Another again good example with the HoloLens is about the mixed reality user guides that we are doing. And you see that how it is helping us to imagine which is the next product that needs to be used. So there's a product which we was developed in-house, which we call it as a CAA, and this is how it is guiding each of the operators to learn the new processes and the new assembly of the product for the automotive. Another key topic which directly leads to the safety of our employee, since is we use a lot of assembly products, and we need to do assembly which is always comes with different electrical view, and it has different kind of voltages. In the past, in the safety, when you see the hazards, uh, current was one of the key contributor for the safety of the employee. So that's how, again, this whole solution was developed, which is more for a virtual high voltage training, which helps us for learning the basic and try to be more cautious when you are dealing and when you are touching the product which is more electric enabled. One of the key usage of the data that we are now using it, where we are able to do the end-to-end tracing of all our products. We are able to analyze which are the product that comes with what kind of, say, the quality parameters from third-party suppliers to us. When we do a job work, what kind of torque that we apply on it, what kind of quality measures has been done, which are the steps that we followed. All this has been now tracked through the data product that we are now using. This is one of the, again, very important safety requirements that we need to provide it to, say, a Daimler of the world. In case of any accident, we can always go back and check the data of the product which has been used. Plus, data is another key factor where we see that bringing more transparency from the data, be it from the machining perspective, the conditioning perspective, the condition monitoring, OE measures, all this is enabled through data. So data becomes somehow key contributor when you'd like to achieve not only the sustainability goals, but also the tracing of all the products. Another key example, which is also linked to the employee safety, is what we are doing is something called the occupational safety analytics. So in the left hand side, if you see, there are cameras which are installed. Anyhow, these cameras are installed because it's security regions. Now we see that we are able to measure if there is a oil spillage, if there is an unauthorized forklift area, which the people are putting it, they shouldn't be, if they're not wearing a mask, if the employees are not respecting a social distancing, all this has been now captured and analyzed through data. And this is also giving us a kind of upper hand when we wanted to reduce and take more proactive action rather than reactive. So the decreasing downtime, this also helps because if any of the accident happens on a shop floor, that also leads us to stoppage of the production many a times. So with all these proactive measures, you not only save the hazard in the factory, but also increase the productivity. Another key factor for any of the factories that we have is we often come up whenever there is a new product line or change in the product line, you need to come up with assembly lines on the shop floor. And in the past, it used to be done in a very haphazard way with, say, cardboards and all. Now, everything with the LiDAR technology that we are using, you can just analyze, you can move around, and you can see where this product will come up, how exactly it will be looking like, what is the distance that we should keep between one assembly line to another assembly line. So all these have been kind of pre-analyzed before you actually set up the whole machining. In this example, you see that in between there's a machining which we are is about to be set up. This is the virtual view of that particular machine, how it looks like. You can move closer, you can see the different parts. So this also helps us to familiarize all the workers much in advance rather than the usage and when we actually bring the machining. This is another example of the factory design that we do. Again, here usage of the AR/VR and the HoloLenses. This is another one where you see that with HoloClide, Autodesk, and the Dalmia 3Ds, how we are using and set up not only the plant, the floor, but also the training part. So with these virtual things, it it helps every employee to be acquainted to the product in much in advance. So now we are fully confident that when I take you through, so currently we are into a situation where we have certain targets to be achieved by 2030 and 2040. With the help of digitalization and adoption of technology, we are ensuring that we should be able to achieve all this target probably in advance. So with this, I would like to thank you and to listening me on such an important topic of both digitalization and sustainability. I do keep on talking about this topic, both digital and sustainability. You may get in touch with me on LinkedIn. Every week I keep on posting some interesting topics in and around this topic. So with this, I would like to thank you all, and if there is a specific question, happy to answer.
The participants to ask questions.
ఏం చేయాలంటే వరదరాజుకి ఇచ్చి వేరే దేవరాజ్ అనే స్టూడెంట్ ఫోరం ఉన్నాడు కదా.
Thank you so much, Dr. Milan Kumar. It was really fantastic talk. And I hope the audience have got very good information through your talks. And once again, I thank Dr. Shiva Reddy for organizing this. And very, very clear information you have given about the topic which we have got from you. And also various group of audience are there. Probably I hand over the session to Dr. Shiva Reddy for further proceedings. Thank you.
Sir, you mentioned about 8 sustainable goals, and in that climate and nature, and for all people, and lasting values. So when we say lasting values, I mean, what do you mean by lasting values here, sir?
See, as I said, we have our commitment to give back the same kind of environment or the earth to the next generation. And when I talk about, thinking and handing it over to the next generation, this is what is the lasting values that we carry on.
Sir, a very good afternoon, and Swami here. As you mentioned, the digital tools practiced by World Economic Forum, especially AR, VR, and artificial intelligence, data science, and robotics, artificial intelligence, and what is that? 3D printing, and many more, around 10, 12 new technologies,
Mhm.
which is the key factor for the change in this industry 4.0, where, as you mentioned, if they need to change, if people come to know across these technologies, automatically we can get the resources for the new generation manufacturing. Say, as you spoke, that the kind of influence of AR, VR, or MR, that is a mixed reality now today, it is whether any factory setup, supply chain, service, goods, and even manufacturing. What I can say, you told regarding identifying the defect, servicing, and even skilling, and then training. All those things takes a lot of money, energy, time. So with the intervention of these, they can make every job easy and cut down the cost, cut down, and the resource cut down. As you mentioned that when any machine breakdowns, most of the time the production halts, and the person who servicing should travel lot of distance to come and do it. With the augmenting reality and virtual reality and even MR, VR, what the new technologies being we are talking about, this is going to produce a lot of solutions. And this, if every university, every engineer who graduates, whether any discipline, whether mechanical, civil, architecture, or electronics, computers, everyone is a part of these technologies. So, as you mentioned, the Economic Forum, if these technologies is blended with the curriculum in any universities, the amount of resource and the time what industries can save is enormous. And definitely, the goals what you mentioned by 2040, 2030 sustainable goals, which is really an eye opening for educationalists like us, because this is where the larger goals to be framed with the smaller goals in institutional levels to meet these requirements. I believe that the session, what our students, especially we, the people who are in driving seats for making policies in the universities, will take seriously and enhance the quality of learning in universities and make reliable to reach the industries at the same point of time. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Dr.
So one question. Yeah, you can answer.
Yeah. No, sir, I think you have appropriately put the things into the context. The major thing, like when I sit globally and when I visit different universities in different countries, one of the major gap that I see is people are or the students are learning this thing, but I think they need to learn more in the context of a company or an industry where I see that people are still using a lot of small use cases which really cannot be replicated in an industry, and that doesn't help. So when they are learning, if they can take some real life examples, that will be much more easier, not only for the industry, because in the industry we have a huge gap of skilled resources. And digitalization, when it is scaling up, it is not about the faster that we can do, but we always end up having less resources which is not available. And if the institution or the universities like you can focus on more practical thing, that this will help us in a big way.
Okay. Sir, you have been traveling across the globe. Where does India stand when it comes to digitalization when you compare it with other countries?
Um, in terms of India, I see they have in many of the factories, they have started adopting digitalization. And again, they have started using it, but their main challenge is the scalability. Because what they do is they generally do a pilot and that's how they stop, which is not at all helpful because all your plant needs to be at a same matured level. Plus, in India, the another challenge that I see that we need to overcome is when we talk about the digitalization, cybersecurity is another one of the key areas which we very often miss out. In the enthusiasm of doing the digitalization, we try to bring, we try to connect, but that doesn't help. Another thing is that often I have seen the frugal engineering, which works out, low cost solution, which works out. But again, we need to see the scalability of all these solutions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. Any other participant would like to ask any question? Okay. Looks like yeah, there are nobody is there. Dr. Srinath Setu.
Hello.
Dr. Srinath, any
Yeah.
questions from your side? You are from industry.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yes, yes.
Yeah. My question is, see, we are talking about 5G evolution and the industry 4.0, MTM kind of things are happening. How well they get linked down the line in the industry, wherein we are able to enable the manufacturing segment and the overall sustainability in real terms.
Yes, you're right. Now, with the enablement of 5G, it will help us to get a real-time data in a actual, I will say, per second basis. And this will be much more useful because in the past, since the speed and the connectivity was missing, so we always used to get a data with a lagged time stamp. And then, by the time you take a decision, it was somehow not every time, but couple of times impacting the decision. Another very good
Right.
example that we are using in Germany, we have a big racetrack. So whenever there is a new product that is fitted, in the past it used to be that in the onboarding truck, we do have some telematics. There's a guy who was sitting into the truck next to the fleet next to the driver for the testing. Once he is done with everything, then he comes back, he plugs in, and then we were able to analyze the data and the fault and everything. Now with the implement of 5G, everything is available on a real time. So as the truck moves, immediately we are able to see the pattern of the movement of certain equipment, the faulty equipment, or how the equipments are performing in a certain condition.
Yeah. So you are seeing
Last
some.
question.
So you are seeing some kind of further synergy between the two domains, which would be helpful in the long run.
Indeed. So 5G is a technology which will enable us to get more real-time data with less time lag.
Yeah, latency is a typical question what we used to face. I think that would be definitely helpful for you. Yeah.
Indeed. Yes.
All right. Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
One last question, Dr. Milan. In 1900, we had carts driven by horses, and some 15 or 20 years down the lane, all the horses were removed and we had automotive vehicles. And when will we see completely artificial intelligence driven cars from now on?
See, this whole technology has matured in a very good way. Specifically, when I talk about the the passenger cars, the adoption has increased. Probably in the Western world, the adoption will be faster than the developing world because of different standardized scenarios. But when I talk about the commercial vehicle, I think the adoption of the whole automated level 5 ADAS, that what we call, is much more possible, say in 5 to 10 years, because within the transportation industry, say if I talk about a port, so port is a guided, a closed area where the automation can happen in a much faster way. And that's how the adoption, you will see that in the commercial vehicle area is happening much faster than the pass car. Plus, when we talk also about the savings in the transportation, the savings are much higher with a more automation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Any other questions from any student over here?
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask that in any startup or anything like any big industrial changes, the starting 5 years or 7 years are very slow. That no one is trying to take on with the new technology. Like no one is trying to use this big industries, these big robots in their companies and everything. So how can we make them see that this is very nice for them and it will be very efficient for them? How can we convince the recent owners of the factories?
Avanya, a very good question. What I've seen is, and we need to be very careful, is technology is just an enabler. And then, whether you are able to solve a problem with a blockchain, or you are able to solve a problem with adopting with the data, or any kind of other tool. I think this is more a technological perspective question from the enablers. From the business perspective, it is all about the challenges, what they face, and how you are able to solve it. When you go to the shop floors, these guys, they don't understand the technology. They will explain you the challenge, which will help us to improve the productivity. And then, it is based on all the IT and technology guys to figure out what is the right technology which could help. So, for example, now the whole world is moving into the meta. But in reality, you need to see that meta is solving which kind of problem. Maybe, with a metaverse, if you'd like to visit a museum, that's much easier at this particular time as the technology is advancing than trying to do something on a shop floor. So you need to be very careful in understanding the business need and try to apply the technology.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
So I have a
sir.
question.
Thanks.
Yes. So, what would be your advice for anyone who's going to enter the industry?
Um, Industry in the sense like from the technological perspective.
Yes, sir.
See, my advice will be, as I said, like technology is just an enabler, and probably you should be visiting the shop floors in a much. Uh, you should be visiting the factories and trying to understand the problems directly there, and come back and have some solution. So understanding the business challenges are much more important. Then the second step comes the technological solution.
Yes, sir, I get. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Any? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Milan Kumar. It was a wonderful talk. In fact, many of our students also participated in this distinguished talk, leveraging the megatrends, digitalization for sustainability in Industry 4.0. On behalf of Reva University, School of ECE, Eagle Vavia International Academy, we wholeheartedly thank you for sparing your precious time and coming and enlightening us in this wonderful topic. Hope we all would continue to have this meaningful network for the benefit of students, academia, and industry. With
No,
this, I would
definitely.
like
I'm
to
looking forward. Next time, whenever in Bangalore, I will definitely visit you all.
Sure,
definitely,
sure.
sir.
Thank you.
We
That
welcome
is
you
what
to
I
our
have mentioned in my
university.
mail also. Please be physically here so that our students will get enlightened with your huge experience. And also please provide some opportunities to our students, sir. So this is our humble request.
So this is definitely one of the area that we are working on, where we would like to increase the internship program at least for the students. And as I said, like until unless they need to see and feel the thing, because otherwise it's always, IT for IT. They develop the technology for technology, but it doesn't help any of the industry.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Dr. Naresh, you are here. I'm not able to see you. Dr. Naresh?
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, Naresh.
May we request to say a few words by you, Dr. Naresh?
Dr.
yes,
Naresh?
Who are this other one?
Doctor. In fact, my association with Dr. Millen goes a long way ever since he was having a smooth transition in Germany, and we've known ever since then. And it has been really a wonderful opportunity for us all to have really known so much, especially two things which I would like to really stress upon here is like we are all lifelong learners, and Dr. Millen is one of them who really follows this principle. And the best thing is like he brought out a wonderful marriage, I must say, between AI and sustainability. That is exactly what is required at this point of time. And I'm very happy that this memorandum of understanding between our institutions in Germany and India have led off to this particular talk today from Dr. Milan. And I would definitely keep all our projects ongoing right now, which we are working on together with Reddy and also Dr. Vishweshwar Rao. And I think we will definitely get there.
Great.
Thanks a lot for this wonderful uh, organization, I must say, and credits go to your wonderful team at Reva.
Thank you, Naresh. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Narayan Swamy. Thank you, Mr. Vishweshwar Rao.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
We will close the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Milan sir and Neeraj sir. Bye.
Thank you, Naresh. Bye.